Hello, students. I am Dr. S.S. Vaidwan, Department of English, Government Arts College, Alwar. Today, dear students, we will discuss how to write a critical appreciation of a poem. That is, how we can evaluate and how we can best appraise a given poem. It will be beneficial for both the undergraduate students and postgraduate students. So let us begin how to write a critical appreciation. My dear students, as you all know, whenever we are given a poem to analyze, and this is a basic question, it is often asked in the net, and of course, when you write your answers in the degree examinations, that write a critical appreciation of a given poem. So it is a topic of utmost importance. So let us try to analyze which main points or what strategy we should apply to write a critical appreciation of a poem. Literary criticism or appreciation. It comprises of mainly three stages or activities. Three activities are involved. Let us analyze them. First is analysis or description of the comprehension or the given poem or the given text. It should be kept in mind that we have to analyze the given text of the poem. Second point is interpretation based on analysis and description. That is what all we have described in the first point, we have to interpret it. And dear students, the third important point is evaluation. And this evaluation, it is based both on analysis and interpretation. But I would like to caution you that all these three stages, that is point number one, analysis and description, point two, interpretation based on analysis, and the third, that is evaluation based both on analysis and interpretation, they should be logically presented. That is, they should follow the logical sequence first, second, and third. So we should keep in mind that this logical sequence doesn't get disturbed and it should not overlap, we can say, as it can lead to partial judgments or prejudiced judgments or even faulty judgments or faulty appreciation of a poem. So these points, they should be kept in mind whenever we are venturing to appreciate a poem. Before we proceed, let us make it clear that literary appreciation is the study of literature as an object to be studied, understood, interpreted, and to derive aesthetic pleasure. The ultimate aim of any literary appreciation or any piece of literature is to derive aesthetic pleasure. Literary appreciation, as I have said, is a technical subject where it has its own specialized terms or meta language, what we call it. Some of them are crucial and they should be studied and understood first to appreciate poetry, drama, novel, essay, and any other form of literature for that matter. So this meta language we should know, and these crucial terms which we study and use in the appreciation of poetry, drama, novel, essay, and other forms of literature, we should acquaint ourselves thoroughly. So what all is there, what we have to comprehend? The first point is form of the poem. Whether the poem is a sonnet, is it a lyric or epic or ballad? What is the form of the poem? So this is the first point. Whenever you are given a text, so we should first of all look at the form of the poem. The general meaning, then we can derive the general meaning in paraphrase, and we use special vocabulary to write a better appreciation of the poem. And what all is involved in this special vocabulary is imagery, whether metaphor or simile is used, personification, any kind of personification used in the poem, symbolism, pun, oxymoron, rhyme, alliteration. All these things are the special vocabulary which we use to appreciate a poem. We look into the text whether any one of these figures of speech they have been used. Then we describe the theme of the poem or the extract, how the poem starts. The next point is how the poem starts, whether it has an abrupt beginning, whether it develops in the first person, and how it ends. So we should look at both points: how a poem starts, how it ends, and how it develops the theme. Then we should also look for the interstanza divisions. What are the interstanza divisions in the given text of the poem or any extract for that matter? So we should look very minutely at the written form of the poem, how the poem starts, how it ends, how it develops the theme, and the interstanza divisions. They should also be taken care of. Now, what kind of language has been used in that poem? That is the diction. Then figure of speech, whether used or not used. Then look for any unusual combination of words or phrases. In the poem, you also look for any unusual combination of words and phrases, whether the poet has used humor, wit, irony. Then one important aspect is the poem subjective, didactic? Is the language of the poem very emotive? And please also look for any grammatical and syntactical peculiarities, means whether any other form of, you can say, syntactical spatial devices which have been used by the poet in that particular poem. Say for example, we can say G.M. Hopkins used a sprung rhythm. So we should always look for these syntactical peculiarities, and I will repeat myself, we should comment whenever we write a appreciation. We should also comment on these aspects of the language which has been used. I repeat myself: diction of the poem, figures of speech used in this particular poem, any unusual combination of words or phrases which you notice while going through the poem, while reading the poem. Then whether humor, wit, or irony exist in the poem. Is the poem subjective, didactic? You should remember to write this. And is the language of the poem emotive or not? Then look for the syntactical peculiarities in this particular poem or any particular poem. We should comment on these special aspects of language used in a particular poem. Then what next? We should also keep in mind while comprehending a poem sound patterns used. Then the rhythm of the poem, metrical arrangement, what is the which meter has been used, and rhyme, whether there is any rhyming scheme in the poem or it doesn't have a rhyming scheme or it has a faulty rhyming scheme. What kind of rhyme has been used in the poem by the poet, it should also be taken care of. Now, another important aspect is what is the purpose of the poet in writing the poem. You should know that anything which is written, anything documented, it has a specific purpose. So we should know what is the purpose of the poet in writing this particular poem, or has the poet, he has succeeded in achieving his purpose. What is the purpose of the poet? Number one. Then has the poet succeeded in achieving his purpose, and to what extent? Then we write down the final evaluation of the poem. Is the poem personal, objective, subjective? This we should take care of, that the poet whether he has written it in first person, whether it is a personal poem or objective poem or subjective poem. So we should know all these aspects of a poem beforehand. Now, next, when we move on, we should know how to evaluate a poem and how we can just write down a good critical appreciation of a poem. So, my dear students, if I summarize myself, to write a better critical appreciation of a poem, we should follow the logical sequence. We should follow the purpose of the poet, what is the purpose of the poet, how he has achieved in writing the, how he has succeeded in achieving his purpose, the language used, what is the rhyming scheme of that poem, whether any uh, special vocabulary has been used by the poet, or some special sentence pattern has been used, introduced by the poet. We should take care of all these things. I hope this will benefit you in writing a good critical appreciation. We will continue with this critical appreciation of a poem in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Have a great day.